Peace and blessings. Namaste to all light warriors, workers, and everything in between. It is I, Sophie, today, and I'm going to tackle the subject matter of the archons, Demiurge, and the nature of duality. This is going to be somewhat of a semi-heavy topic, and the only reason why I said semi is because I'm not going to go into too much detail about it. The reason why is because at this particular time it's not as important, but it is for your edification and your understanding of it in an effort to get past it. Okay, we're entering into a new paradigm shift, a new age. So any information that I'm bringing forth is just for your own personal archives, okay? And it's not really going to affect where you are now because you're standing in your power and you have awakened. But let's talk about this just for a little bit. Duality that exists in this realm of matter. Even with that, you have two different teachings concerning the Demiurge, the chief archon, and the archons, okay? From one perspective that comes from the Nag Hammadi library, the chief archon was considered inherently evil, malevolent, with emanations that were just as evil and wicked as himself, okay? They came forth, they created this realm of matter, okay? And they just enslaved humanity and created this matrix system, and that their nature is inheritedly evil, okay? However, if you read the writings of Plato in his letters of Timaeus, he paints a completely different story. He paints the story of the Demiurge as being ultimately benevolent, okay, and wanting a beautiful, perfect universe, but didn't have the ability to achieve it in its perfection because of its limitations of the matter, the consciousness, or let's just say it was imbalanced. And so each and every time this chief Demiurge decides to redo it again and redo it again and redo it again. If you understand the nature of cycles, then you also understand that with every new birth, there's a death. Depending on your perspective, this can either be viewed as positive or negative, right? But once again, these two perspectives are presented to you. So we're still dealing in duality, right? My stance on this is I have an understanding on how this works or how it has worked, and I am in a position of neutrality when it comes down to it. Now, here's why. If everything is governed by perspective, then naturally you will never have the ability to please 100% of the people 100% of the time. There is a difference between having a nature that is completely evil versus having a nature that is ignorant of certain things. Ignorance in of itself can be viewed as evil because what comes forth from ignorance is more ignorance, right? The three natures of who they call the chief archon, Yaldabaoth, Samael, and Saklas. The terminology or the definition behind these phrases: son of chaos, the fool, or the blind god, okay? Or the god of the blind. Now, why was it considered the blind god? The blind god was called Samael, at that time because from the chief archon's perspective, there wasn't anything higher than himself. He was unaware of a higher light. Okay? Upon his creation, the only reflection that he saw, or the first reflection that he saw, was himself. He had the ability to create, and so that's what he did as a great architect. However, he created an imbalance because he himself was created in imbalance. Follow me. The nature of the archons was produced from the nature of pure ignorance. That ignorance had everything to do with not having the ability to see, comprehend, or process a higher nature than of itself. Hence, we have self-willed. It's very interesting to see when we get caught up in this duality and many point fingers at these beings or that being, not understanding that your nature encompasses the same self-will. Beings had to go through, even creator beings, had to go through their times and their seasonings of growth and evolution as well. If you consider that love is the highest law and the chief principle foundation of all creation, then it is impossible for you to also think that from this chief principle foundation, the first emanations of it would be evil. Evil and chaos are not one and the same. Something being brought out of disorder or from a chaotic nature can produce more chaos until order is introduced. Once order is introduced, the chaotic nature finds itself gravitating and regrafting itself into another spiral of perfection. The wise man knows that we really don't know that much. Only of what has been recorded and from the perspectives of the ones who are recording the information. So we're very careful on what we label things without that complete understanding. Any architect or builder, when comparing their first house to their 100th house, will notice a major difference in the two structures. One is the beginning and foundation, where certain things may not have been calculated correctly, thought out, or might not have translated from a realm of ethereal to a corporeal world. Most philosophers and metaphysics and astrologists and astronomers, scientists and the like will tell you that our world encompasses mathematical equations, plutonic solids, energy, frequency, and vibration. So there is a grand design and a grand architect behind all of it. These architects, which are simply archetypes of our own personalities, that's a little bit different. We'll get into that later. These grand architects, they're constantly evolving. constantly changing. Based off of what? Humanity has been studied through eons and eons and eons. Algorithms are put in place that, based off of the data, the analysis that we are sending forth to the Ein Sof, to the creators, they highlight predictive timelines, i.e. prophecy. These algorithms are presented, timelines are presented, prophecies are presented based off of these predictive type of programs and based off of human study through various phases of evolutions. But every now and then, an anomaly slips through. You'll have a Neo, you'll have a Trinity, you have a Morpheus. Okay? These come into the matrix programming and challenge it. They challenge what is designed to do. They challenge its nature. They challenge whether or not it is harmful or helpful. They challenge the matter of the whole. And each and every one of these archetypes that come through here and do that ushers in a new phase of development for your evolutionary journey. These anomalies, which may not have been predicted, are still expected and part of the program. They come to bring chaos. And from that chaos comes a new set of orders. This is a repeated pattern of your world. Some will look at these as rebellions. Some will see them as saviors. Do you understand? That's the world of duality that you're in. From the perspective of what you are fighting for and what you see as an issue, you will either be received as a rebellious one or a savior. This is why we are careful not to speak evil of things that we don't understand, nor good of things that we don't understand, but we process it all as is. Our nature is to process the information that has been presented. Take the information back and see what we can improve on. Through eons and eons and eons, from the very foundation of this created world of matter, those who have been seen as chief archons or the Demiurge, even they have someone to answer to. There's always hierarchy, okay? Whether or not you are aware of it, but just like your houses are governed with a family structure, so are things outside of this. The issue with the matrix system is that while you are trapped in this created reality of matter, there is no new ideas. All is continually being recycled. Every time a thought comes forth that you say, this comes from me, let me bring it, you will quickly find that someone else has that same thought or had in the past. That's because the information is continually being recycled within a specific energy field. Original thought takes place outside of this matrix system. But you have to get there. Your duality has once again been presented to you. This one is more catered to who are we going to blame. Is the Demiurge completely and totally evil, with a blind God that just simply wants to control everything and humanity, as written in the Nag Hammadi's? Or is he ultimately benevolent and ignorant and gets frustrated at the fact that his universe is imperfect? That is up to you to decide. I won't give you an idea one way or the other, because from my level of understanding, it simply is. And because it is evolving and changing and always improving upon itself, I am at peace. However, once again, in the realm of duality, we must be very, very careful of what we are putting our attention to. When things don't go our way, or is not manifesting in the matter that we think it should, it's very easy and very comfortable to blame an outside source for it. All outside influences were only able to function because of the permission that it was given by us. When one doesn't know or recognize or understand its own power or potential, it can be very easily influenced to turn it over. But now that you have recognized your own power, authority, and influence, you have the ability to take it back. The light that you want to see shine or shone throughout this entire earth to tear down this matrix system starts with the light within you and how you start to see things. A blind God may make a whole lot of mistakes, as in all of us. But as I have told you, we're in the season where villains become heroes, because we're rewriting this story as we speak collectively. If you want to understand the nature of the archons, the nature of the Demiurge, and all of that you are blaming, then first identify with the nature of yourself and see it from within. We are living in what I call nested realities. What I mean by that is we have the ability to shape, mold, change, transition our timelines in our own experiences. Many different prophecies are simultaneously being played out. Depending on your level of understanding and consciousness, what prophecy are you playing a role in? Is it the rainbow prophecy? Is it the tribulation prophecy? Your free will makes all of the difference, because your thoughts, your consciousness is currency. And it can change courses at any moment, hence the anomalies that enter in the equations, that shake up the algorithms. Those who are bold enough to say, and say loudly, something is wrong with this system. The movie Inception taught you about layers in the dream world or in the subconscious mind. This exists in this matrix system as well. Nested realities. Follow me. Whatever you so give your power to, or you bind yourself to, is continual. From transitioning from this realm of matter to an energy matter, you still bind yourself to it. What does it mean being multi-dimensional? It means a singular consciousness, having the ability to traverse different timelines, events, and spheres simultaneously. So, how we're acting our lives here in this realm of matter will ultimately reflect in the worlds where matter do not exist. When you have a nested dream within a dream within a dream, then you're only dealing with an illusion of escaping the matrix and not actually moving forward. See? This is how recycles happen. This is how false heavens show. You leave the earth, or you think that you leave the earth, but you're still stuck within this magnetic field, and you're in a false delusion of a heavenly realm, but you have never escaped the earth. Those who have the ability, who have found the third path, have the ability to escape the earth's matrix altogether. This is your last journey here. Two imbalanced creators, Sophia Yaldabaoth, and then later on, perfected creators manifested. So, now that you know this, are you going to still be focused on all of the evil deeds that was done in the past, or are you focusing on what we're doing now? What we're doing now is way more important than your stance. Always remember that if you can throw your attention to things that are outside of yourself and blame it, it is a distraction keeping you from working on what you need to do with inside of yourself. The still small voice that pushes you to be the best version of yourself is God. See? People won't understand this. Many of you will, and you know it all too well. In order to escape the nested realities, you have to go within and find your connection to God. And we're not talking about the gods of the religions, okay? We're talking about the source and the divine spark that gave you consciousness and the ability to think, grow, reason, love, create, nurture, provide. We often read texts of this God being jealous and this God being this and this God being a man of war, and all of those clues were given to you. If a God calls himself a man of war, he is not the creator. If a God calls himself jealous, he is not the creator. There is nothing for a creator to be jealous of. What is his equal? Do you see? The love force behind creation only seeks to perfect itself and to continue onward with that creation. The only way that it can perfect itself is to look upon its own journey and see where the flaws lie, and then do it again and again and again. We are co-creators in this journey because we are providing the information needed and necessary to continue to build a better and more sophisticated and more fair and more balanced earth. We partner with Source in this by providing our feedback, our experiences, and our journeys, and the nature of Source uses these vessels to experience itself. The whole premise of good and evil is based on duality in nature, from one extreme to the next, and varying degrees in between them too. Perspectives are formed when judgments are made through observation. The algorithms, we rewrite them again and again and try to account for every single decision that can be made. And it'll never be completed. Because it will constantly build upon itself. We are focusing now on the creation of the new earth, and we're leaving all old things in the past. Behold, I make all things new. Who spoke those words? And what did he mean? Get out of the duality. Observe it for what it is. Process the information and learn from it, all of its lessons. And keep moving forward. And spend most of your time focusing on what is to come. And the work has to be done from within. No one can force your power away from you, but you can freely give it. And if you freely give it away, you will find yourself in these nested cycles. Nested dreams, dreams within dreams within dreams, never fully awakening to what is and what is true. The archons, the Demiurge, the creator beings. Creation takes time, dear ones. Perfection takes time. It takes evolutions of what could work, what can't work, what was harmful, what was helpful, and we continue to build. Stay out of the blaming game and work on self. Stay neutral. Stay in the frequency of love and light. and you'll be okay. I am Sophie, and I love you all. Bye.